Sergey says, 15.75, not enough to survive. What a crock. It's enough for quite a decent life. I had a job for $13 per hour, and I was able to buy a house and pay for 2 of my sons to go to university, and I always had food on the table. Helen says, you talk about poverty and then announce there's a move on groceries are possibly going to increase by 15 cents per bag. But, you know, as people will tell you, you can take old bags in, you can take your own bags in and everything like that. Anyway, poverty is in all sectors. Single working people struggle on one income. There's no help for that sector. The group on super also struggle. If there's a health problem, it's unaffordable. Medical costs are astronomical. Income is too low overall. There are many earning below the living wage. People go without essential services. So many problems. Helen. Yes, there are a great many things that need to be addressed. This is still paradise. Believe you me, this is still one of the best countries in the world to be in. You get sick in New Zealand, you go to hospital, they treat you. That actually is the way it works. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Should we try and make it perfect? We should try and make it as good as we possibly can. And so we should be critical, but at the same time, we have to recognise we live in paradise. Paul says, Ron, please advise the poor from the North Island that they shouldn't move to the South Island. Tell them it's freezing down here. There are wild animals all over the place that will eat their children. The sun never shines. There are earthquakes daily, floods, pestilence and famine. The people are all hillbillies. Auckland should learn to clean up its own mess. Ron. They don't want us in their backyard. Nick says, I see poverty every day. I see kids with sores and wounds weekly. Housing investors are running rampant and uncontrolled rents. Until rents are brought under control, nothing will change. As a corporate citizen, I give food to those that need it. I do this because I can't solve the problem of poverty, but I can help those precious few people that come into my view. What about the thousands of people that we don't see? Thank you, Nick. Another Nick, this one from Mount Albert, says, Paul, I have 4 sons and 2 daughters. I let them play with each other's toys and never stopped boys with dolls and girls with cars and guns. They all turned out just fine. Is that gender neutral? Great gender neutral toy, by the way, Lego. Thank you, Nick. Lego is a fantastic gender neutral toy. And is it gender neutral to do that? I'm just not sure it is. I think you're more interventionist if you're truly gender neutral. And you try and dissuade your children from playing with gender-specific toys, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. And finally, Linda says, I would like to see the tax surplus used for health across New Zealand, not just have it swallowed up in Auckland like so much of our tax money is now. Thank you for your feedback. 21 and a half minutes away from 8. A lot of feedback, most of it now, because in the early stages of the program this morning, a lot of it was on gender neutral, bringing children up in a gender neutral environment. It's now turned to plastic bags, most of it anyway. Hi, Paul, says Henry. We talk every day about the average Kiwi family not having enough money to pay their bills. Tax cuts are essential. The country cannot afford to keep putting wages up. It just keeps increasing costs. Anyone in our country on $60,000 a year should not pay income tax. That would be the most fair way to distribute tax cuts, is just lift the no tax threshold. Put more money on dinner tables. You will improve health and quality of living. Give me a yell if you need me to come in and help with your show. Thank you very much, Henry. Here's the thing. You give people tax cuts instead of what? Instead of fixing the roads. And so you're holding your economy back. And I know there's the trickle-down theory, and I'm a capitalist, for God's sake. And I love to think people should be able to keep as much as possible of the money that they earn, but not at the expense of then having to pay it in road user charges and increased road user charges, increased petrol levies, increased taxes in other ways. And that's what will happen. If our income tax drops, then the residual taxes will increase. And so, you know, if we've got some money to invest, let's invest it in the future. Tina says, why don't they go back to making paper bags and charge for them? Do you know the funny thing about paper bags? In America, there are a lot of companies give out paper bags. You know, a lot of the supermarkets give out paper bags, and they're just not strong. You know, paper bags are just, you put your bits and bobs in a paper bag, the handles will break off if you don't hold them in exactly the right way, and they'll just rip. And you go, anyway. But I know what people say. So many people are talking about paper bags because, of course, they biodegrade, and no mammals have been killed by paper bags. Hi, Paul. I'm not against the tax on plastic bags because the Warehouse and Pack and Save already have a charge for bags. Pack and Save are different because of the quid pro quo. I mean, they charge for bags because their prices are lower. I would like to know when we will get a tax on disposable nappies, as they are a very big polluter as well. They go into landfills and never break down and are full of human waste. Another thing are doggy-do bags. You collect biodegradable waste, and put it in a plastic bag, preventing it from decomposing. We need a biodegradable type of bag. John, you're absolutely right. I mean, the answer is biodegradable plastic. I mean, surely that's the answer. Taxing on disposable nappies. That person is obviously not a parent. So, okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people have suggested, have condemned disposable nappies. That person is obviously not a parent. I used cloth nappies for the first 6 months of my son's life, but now use disposables. On one wage, they are absolutely expensive enough. So I wonder why you don't continue using cloth nappies. I don't know what the answer to that is. In New Zealand, water is not a major problem. But extraordinarily, in many parts of the developed world, it is actually better for the environment to use disposable nappies than it is to use cloth nappies. Now, I can hear people now screaming